Hello everyone, it's your girl Lala and I'm back with another video. I have been gone for a little bit. I just celebrated my birthday in Dubai. There's a video coming up of that, part one, and a part two will be coming up soon, probably end of this week or early next week. I'll have part two ready. So be sure to check my Dubai birthday video out, okay? So this video review is going to be on Love and Marriage Season 4, Episode 1 is what we're going to discuss today. So let's get into the video. So this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville starts off with Marcel and Tisha at dinner. I believe it was like for their 15th anniversary dinner, is what they were celebrating. So anyway, they were at dinner, and at the dinner, the conversation comes up about Marcel posted a picture of Maurice on social media, which the picture included Maurice in a group photo when the guys were, I believe, in Atlanta or somewhere. It was a guy's trip or whatever, and I believe it was Atlanta. And anyway, if you guys recall, on the reunion for the past season, Maurice said that he was not there. And so basically this picture basically showed that he had lied and that in fact Maurice was there. So this is how this season starts out. Now, Tisha is even asking Marcel, why he posted it. And, she kind of gets into with Marcel that, well, it kind of puts your brother in a hot seat and it's kind of throwing your brother under the bus because, it's implying that he lied. And so Marcel has kind of a response of something about like saying, well, Maurice is a lawyer, so, like he should know how to get himself out of sticky situations or know how to answer certain questions. Which is kind of crazy to me because I'm like, wow, this is your brother. Like, how did you possibly post this picture and not think that this would have a negative effect on him? And number one, his relationship, because now at this point, he's saying that he wasn't there. And in fact, it's proof showing that he was. So I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, what brother does this? So this was kind of like odd to me that Marcel would do this. But if you guys recall and you've been watching the past seasons, Marcel is pretty shady because, he threw Martell under the bus a bit in the past season, which now we see what really was going on. And Martell made a comment in the past season that, people are talking about what he's doing, what Martell is doing, but guys around him are cheating with 20 women. And he was insinuating that to be Marcel. And, to be honest, I definitely think that something's going on with Marcel. I don't think that all of these are rumors. I do think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and, something's going on. I don't know if he's just better at it because it doesn't seem like anything has been concrete. But I don't know. The way Marcel moves, I just kind of feel like there definitely is there's something up with him, and I don't feel like he is 100% faithful to Tisha. And even in the past seasons when she's asked him certain questions, it's like, this is your husband. If you ask him a question, answer it flat out. He kind of plays this game with her in like a mind game in a sense, and he goes around about in these circles and things like that. So I don't know. It just seems real suspicious to me. I don't know if it's just his personality or what, but Marcel always has come off very suspicious to me in regards to the rumors and different things that he's being accused of and how he responds to Tisha about these things. So I don't know. So then we have this scene with Kimmy and Maurice, and Kimmy confronts Maurice about the picture. And Maurice kind of has the same personality or way about him as Marcel with this whole, not directly answering a question. But let me tell you something. Kimmy was not here for it. She shut it straight down. And she's like, listen, I don't want all of this around the woods and, through the back and all of this. Answer the question I asked, period. And I was here for it because I'm like, yes, answer the question. And I like Kimmy a lot. Kimmy is one of my favorites on the show because number one, I find her to be very direct and very straightforward. And, Kimmy is not, to me, from what I gather with the show, she's not into like the pettiness and the drama. She just, she's straightforward and she's a genuine person. And I appreciate and like that about Kimmy because I feel like she really does keep it, 100. And she also, she expresses and she says what it is that she needs to. And so, those things make Kimmy one of my favorite. But back to the whole conversation with Kimmy and Maurice. Once again, Maurice was kind of like trying to slide through, and Kimmy was like, no, she wasn't having it. So Maurice finally does say, he basically denies it that, because she asks him directly, did you sleep with any one of the linebackers? Like, direct. Did you sleep with one of the linebackers? And so he eventually comes out and he says no, that he did not. So it kind of like, that's where the scene just basically kind of ends. And it's kind of just basically about whether or not Maurice did, in fact, sleep with one of the girls or, what he did while he was there or whatever. So, he ends up denying it. He says no. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys, there was an interview that Martell's son's mother did, the side chick, Ariane, I believe is her name. There was an interview that she did on Tasha K's channel. And in that interview, she said that they all went upstairs or something with, these women that look like linebackers or whatever. I guess she was calling them, big women or, whatever. Or I don't know, or maybe it was about their shape, not sure, whatever. But anyway, so she made the comment, she said that they all were like, messing around or whatever. So that story is a little bit different from what Maurice is saying. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Maurice is guilty or not. Now, Kimmy did mention and say that in one of the conversations about this, Kimmy made the comment that well, the ones who were married were Martell and Marceau. And, she was saying like her and Maurice were not married at the time they were dating. Now, Melanie called her out on that because, she's like, okay, you guys weren't married, but weren't y'all in a relationship and living together? So, I mean, it was like, Kimmy, if you have a, to each their own. If you count the clock of commitment in a relationship at marriage, then, to each his own. That's what you do. And if you feel like he didn't cheat on you until you said I do, then, by all means, by your account and your relationship, that wasn't cheating. Now, if you feel that the relationship started from the time that you guys were supposed to be in a committed relationship to each other, and even if you weren't married yet, anything he did was cheating, then, you have that, you have that right of that way of thinking as well. I think for me with this, what I didn't like was that it was kind of like Kimmy wasn't being 100 about it in this situation. She wasn't being as upfront about it because to downplay it that you guys weren't married, but you guys were already living together for, I believe in this conversation, it came out that it was about a year. So you guys were in a full-blown committed relationship. And if you are going to use that you wasn't married, then my thing is start from the beginning with that. Just say, well, listen, if Maurice did do this, for me, I don't count it cheating until we said I do. and say that up front. It was kind of like she said it on the back end once Melanie called her out on it. Like, well, because Kimmy had made the comment that, well, the only ones who were married were Martell and Marceau. And that's when she said it. So it's kind of like, well, if that was your way of thinking, be upfront with it, instead of it more so came off as if like this was kind of like, her making an excuse or whatever. But at the end of the day, listen, you know, whatever clock she uses as a starting point of their relationship in regards to like as a fidelity, as a like a, I don't know, a fidelity gauge as to, cheating while they were married versus cheating while they were boyfriend and girlfriend. That's on her. That's up to her. But, me personally, my issue would be that I don't want to find out anything from anybody else that I should know from you. Don't make me look crazy. Do not make me look crazy. Do not make me look stupid, And this already came up on the reunion. So I would think that Maurice would have already been upfront with her and said, like, listen, I was there and so and so and so and so, or whatever the case might be. But that was definitely the time to let her know, instead of leaving her in the dark and having this come up again. And she's finding out, like, being blindsided that Maurice was in fact there, at that time. And whatever happened, who knows? I think that Maurice I think he was doing something. I think he probably was with one of the linebackers and he did something. And it was interesting because he said to Kimmy, as a way of, proving that he wasn't with a linebacker or whatever, he was like, do you think I would be with a linebacker, or do you think that I would be, with, basically, I don't know. I took it as if he was saying, like, do you think that type of woman is what would appeal to me or I would deal with? And I'm like, well, his ex-wife, she is a pretty woman, but his ex-wife is a bigger woman. So I'm like, I don't know exactly what that comment was supposed to prove or justify, in his, or how that was supposed to be a defense of his, because, his ex-wife and Kimmy are very differently, body types. And his ex-wife, like I said, is a bit bigger. So, I don't know, or not unless, at the time when they were together, she was smaller and, she gained weight over the years after they were together or after they separated. I don't know. Maybe, maybe that's, maybe that's the case. And that's why he's saying it. I don't know. It just all seems very shady to me. And and something in Atlanta with that little boys trip or whatever absolutely certainly went down. And it's a lot of guilty parties that were a part of it. And I'm going to leave that there. So next we move on to Tisha and Destiny. They're out together and they're having a conversation. And in this conversation that they're having, Mel becomes the topic. And so basically they're talking about an instance where they were in the same hotel or something as Melanie. And I guess they were having a conversation and they were talking about Melanie. And Melanie, said she had heard, some pieces of what they were saying or, of something of that sort. Now, in this conversation, Tisha asked Destiny about her and Mel's, like, relationship, where they are or whatever. And Destiny mentions that she has not really spoken to Melanie and that, they, I believe, had brunch or something sometime before that. And that was it. But they really haven't been in communication. And Destiny has started, singing again with her singing. And, that led Tisha to kind of make the comment that, oh, well, you guys are both kind of like, doing the music. And so this is something that you guys could connect on. And you would think that you guys would be kind of like having conversations or connecting on this or whatever. And so, in this conversation, Destiny, went on to say that, she doesn't know why, she hasn't talked to Mel. But she does know that, I guess she feels that, there's a change, and she's just like, at the end of the day, basically, she's going to give Mel her space, and she's not going to, I guess, continue to try to, force something that, is not there. If Mel, doesn't want to, I guess, be friends with her still, communicate with her, whatever the case might be, then, she's just gonna, like, fall back or whatever. And so, then Tisha is, just listening or whatever. And in this conversation, Destiny does make the comment that Melanie said to her, that, you were talking to my enemy or whatever, talking about Tisha. And so I guess part of the issue as well, with her not talking to Destiny, has something to do with, Destiny and Tisha having conversations or building a friendship or whatever. And Destiny, she said that, well, at another point, Melanie told her that she doesn't have a problem with, Destiny building a friendship with Tisha, or, anything like that. If she chooses to, basically, like, that's her business or whatever. But then Destiny is kind of making the, she's basically putting out there that, I guess, Mel wasn't being honest with that, because it's almost like, I guess, she's saying that part of, I guess, the fallout with her and Mel is because Destiny is choosing to build a friendship or, have communications with Tisha, whatever. I mean, it all, at this point, these parts are very, very, like, very high schoolish. I don't like, this is a part of the show that I really don't like, the situations that go on with, like, Melanie and Tisha, and, like, even now, what's going on with Destiny. It's very childish. It's very childish. And it's like, we can do without that. Like, you guys are grown women, married women with families and the whole nine. It's so high school with the he said, she said, and, all this other stuff. It's just, like, ridiculous. So I'm, like, over that with the show. Later on, we do get Mel's side, so I'll get to that as well. Because we get Mel's side when Mel and Kimmy, they meet up. And so when Mel and Kimmy meet up, so now Mel and Kimmy, they meet up and they're talking. And, they're talking about the whole thing with the picture that comes up, of course. And this is the part where Kimmy kind of downplays, and she says that her and Maurice weren't married during that time. They were, like, dating, and kind of Mel calls her out on it. Like, well, wasn't y'all, like, in a relationship and living together? So, that's where that part comes in. And then they move on, and then Melanie is telling her about the situation with Tisha and Destiny. Now, according to Melanie, she heard Destiny and Tisha talking about her when they were in this hotel or something. Now, it got a little weird because Melanie, when Tisha and Destiny were talking about it, I was under the impression that maybe the rooms were right, like, next door to each other. But when Melanie gives the story, it's the impression that the rooms were like she was down the hall from them. And now I'm just kind of like side-eyeing at this point, because you mean to tell me that in a hotel with rooms that are, like, down the hall from each other, you managed to hear them clearly talking about you? So, I don't know. I love Mel. That's my girl. She's one of my faves. But, I don't know about that one. That one just seemed a little odd to me. So, yeah, I don't know, Mel. But she did say that Destiny apologized to her, and Destiny had admitted that she was talking about her to Tisha and apologized. Now, Melanie and Destiny have two totally different versions of this event. So, at this point, I don't know. I can't pinpoint it either way as to who I believe more than the other, or whose truth it seems more likely than the other. I don't know. I just hope I hope they resolve whatever they have going on. To me, it seemed like the change in a relationship between Destiny and Melanie occurred back at Melanie's music video thing, her little premiere. It seemed like that's when a change occurred. Destiny was seemed to be in a very needy spot, and it seemed like it turned Mel off because I think Mel felt like this moment was about her, and in a way Destiny was kind of making it about Destiny. And I think that is what started the downward spiral in their friendship, because it seems like after that they never had recovered, because even before the reunion, I'm sorry, even at the reunion, you know, they both had said they hadn't like really spoken or whatever, or Destiny was saying she hadn't really spoken to Melanie like she had in the past and as frequently and things like that. So I definitely think that that might have been the start to the end of their friendship. I don't know. As we've seen, as we've seen Tisha and Melanie, they have had a rocky friendship, I believe, almost from the beginning. So that's been pretty rocky between them too, and most of it seems to stem from just the situation with Marceau and Martel. I believe that put a really, really big wedge between their friendship because, you know, when accusations about Martel was flying, and then Melanie was like, basically, like, well, my family isn't the only one, with the cheater in the household. Like, my household ain't the only one with with a cheater in it. And so she started to kind of like, bring Marceau in that. And so that started to cause a bit of a rift between the two of them. So I don't know. Hopefully they can actually like mend things, at least to a point where they can be, a little more cordial and aren't so, it's not a constant thing of, the cattiness with them. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. We'll see if Destiny and Melanie can mend fences, which I think this season is probably going to have a lot with them. Probably not in a good place. I think that at this point, Tisha and Destiny are probably going to end up being pretty tight this season. And I don't think that Mel is probably going to get into a good place with Destiny. But we shall watch and see. Also, in this same episode, Melanie invited Kim to the slumber party that she's having, and she made it very clear that Destiny and Tisha will not be invited. She made that very clear. So we'll see how that goes, because we know that this is going to, of course, be some drama for the show afterwards with, Tisha and Destiny not being invited. So we already know what we're in store for with that. And so then finally, this episode kind of closes out with the scene where Tisha and Marceau, they are at Marceau's brother's house, his brother Micah. So they're at his home, and Maurice and Kimmy, they join in as well. So they're all there for a family dinner. And of course, at this dinner, again, the topic of the picture comes up again, which this whole episode really was like the picture gate, is what this turned into. It got a little redundant on this episode because it was like too much about this picture. But anyway, so they started to discuss the picture. And, one thing that annoys me with Tisha is that she doesn't stand up for herself, and she doesn't speak her truth, and she doesn't say what it is that she really wants to say. And that's something I really don't like about Tisha. Like, she was asked about, when Marceau does certain things or whatever, does it bother her or whatever? And it's like, Tisha, it does bother you. Why are you sitting here lying? It does bother you. You need to speak up And you need to let him know that this, that, or whatever the case might be, does bother you. Like, you need to speak up. I don't know. I get a little annoyed with her, with this timid and like, this very timid and just like, almost little girl way about her. It's like, you're a grown woman with kids, and this husband of yours, like, speak up. But anyway, so, of course she's not. And she's like, oh no, whatever. That doesn't bother her, and that people are going to make up things and all of this other stuff or whatever. But, Kimmy had a good point, because Kimmy said to Marceau, like, listen, when you do certain things, it does not only impact you, but you have to think about the way it impacts others. And like, when you do certain things, like your wife, for example, the impact and the backlash that your wife get for that. Do you even think about the casualties that you are leaving out there when you do certain things? And of course, Marceau is like looking like, no. Like, what did I do wrong? That's his whole reaction. Like, no, what do I do wrong? Totally not going to get it, because that's how Marceau operates. Marceau does whatever it is that he wants to do. And it doesn't seem as though he considers other people's feelings at all. And we definitely see that, because why would you post that type of picture? And he said something about, oh, well, I didn't think it would be like, like something so bad when we posting a picture with Maurice in it. He said something like, I just thought that it would just be, I forgot something about, I just thought that people would just find Maurice complacent. I didn't think that it would turn into all of this. And it's like, I can't understand it. Marceau, I think you are a pretty intelligent guy. And I'm not buying that you just did this and thought it would be just some type of like little joke, and it would just like go over and it wouldn't be anything really. It's almost like you wanted to create havoc in your brother's life, because I can't see any other reason why you would do this. Like, you knew that this was going to be something that Kimmy was going to see. You knew that this was going to now start accusations of flying. You knew that the accusations already were that the guys were with women. So it's just like, I don't know. It's almost like you wanted to pull your brother into, your drama. And, it's like you weren't going to go down alone on this ship or whatever. I don't know. I found this to be extremely shady. And, coming from a brother, it just made it even worse. But, once again, this seems to be how Marceau operates. And then another thing is the whole conversation that he had with Tisha about him going to Africa by himself. I don't know what in the heck is wrong with Tisha, but let me tell you something. You're going to allow your husband to go all the way across the world to Africa on a solo trip, supposedly, by himself? What married man needs to go on a solo trip like that? If you need to depress, take you some days in a hotel or something. But to go all the way across the world with a wife and family, that is a no for me. That is an absolute no for me. And what I don't like is that Tisha had a really big problem with that, but she did not verbalize that. It's like she doesn't put her foot down and set boundaries. And that's why Marceau is continuing to do what he does. And he makes decisions that he wants to make that only benefit him, or him only thinking about himself, is because she allows that. But I just thought that was crazy as I don't know what, that, he went to Africa, by himself. Let me tell you something. For me in my household, that's going to be a no. Okay? No way. But, to each their own. I'm not here to judge anybody. But, like I said, that's a no for me. So anyway, that wraps up this little recap rant from this first episode for the season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So, hey, let me know what you guys think about, about this episode. And, talk in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think is gonna happen in the next upcoming episodes. And do you guys think this season is gonna be like juicy, or do you guys think this season is gonna be kind of like whatever? So anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts. Next time, toodles.